This video is all about mixed numbers. We're going to do converting mixed numbers and adding and subtracting on this one, and then we'll move on to multiplying in a different video. Otherwise it's quite long and better to concentrate on a couple of things together. So converting with mixed numbers. So if we have a mixed number 4 and 3/7, what we're saying is that's an integer value of 4. That's 4 whole numbers and a fraction of 3/7. And it's quite useful to try and think about it like this. 7/7 is one whole number of that same denominator fraction. So really what we've got there is that sum of 7/7 4 times plus 3/7. Or a quicker way to think about it is to take our whole number value 4, multiply it by our denominator 7, and that gives us 28. Then obviously we've still got this other fraction here, 3/7, that we've not included. So we're going to add the numerator 3 to get 31, and that's where our fraction 31/7 comes from with a mixed number. Going backwards the other way, remember fractions are just the same as division. So if we say 31/7, we're actually saying 31 divided by 7. Then it's a case of seeing how many whole numbers and how many remainders we've got. So 31 divided by 7 is 4 remainder 3, because 4 times 7 is 28. 29, 30, 31 is your remainder 3. So that makes 4 and 3/7 for our mixed number. Okay, so we're going to use those two functions, those two processes, when we look at adding and subtracting, and later on when we come to multiplying and dividing. So adding with mixed numbers, quite straightforward. We can actually break this down into whole numbers and fractions. So we've got 5 add 7. And then we can think about adding the 3/8 and the 2/3 together separately. So the 5 add 7 gives us 12. 3/8 and 2/3, we now just treat that as adding proper fractions as we would normally. We're looking for a common denominator of 24. So 8 times 3 is 24. So we do 3 times 3 to get 9. So 8 to 24, 3 to 9. 3 times 8 is 24. So we do 2 times 8 to give us 16. And then we can add those numerators together. So we get 12 and 25/24. Now this does often happen with mixed numbers. We end up with an improper fraction as well as a whole number. So 25/24, where if we remember going back to converting improper fractions to mixed numbers, 25 divided by 24 is 1 remainder 1. But we've got to add that 1 onto our existing 12 that's there. So we end up with 13 and 1/24. Subtracting, not so straightforward. Okay, so we can't just subtract the whole numbers and then subtract the fractions, because we're going to get in all kinds of a mess if the second fraction is larger than the first. So we're going to treat this slightly differently. We're going to turn it, and so we've got the same common denominator, 9/24 and 16/24. So that was 8 times 3 is 24, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 8 is 24, 2 times 8 is 16. And you can see the 16 and the 9 makes it quite challenging to actually subtract. We're going to end up with all sorts of problems. So here's what we're going to do, a little trick. We're going to borrow one of those whole numbers. Okay? So a whole number there is 24/24. So I'm going to take that 24/24 and I'm going to add it to the 9. That gives me 33. So I've borrowed one whole number. That's 24/24, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. I've added 9 on. My numerator is now 33. Now I can do 16 from 33. I've got 5 to take away from 6 and 16 to take away from 33. That's going to end up with 1 and 17/24.